Can I kill it? Oh, come on! What was that? That doesn't count as a death. That does not. And I lost connection. Oh, come on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host, Aaron, and for today's video, we're headed to the world, the brand new survival MMO Dune Awakening. And I'm gonna try and answer that question, is this game worth your time? Now, I wanna say right at the beginning of this video, this is a first impressions video, all right? I have 12 hours into the game. I've streamed it a couple of days, and I went into this game completely blind. I'm not following any game guides. I'm not watching any other creators. I didn't watch any tips and tricks. I didn't even know what the hell I was playing at first, all right? So just know, completely blind first impressions video. So anybody out there saying like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that, I played the game completely blind, all right? Dune Awakening, is it worth your time? Let's start. Now, when I was planning this video out in my head, I was gonna break it down, like here are the visuals, here's combat, here's traversal, here's crafting, and kind of make the video that way. And I decided, no, I scrapped that. I'm just gonna tell you my experience, all right? And I think this will paint a picture on Dune Awakening, okay? So follow me down this rabbit hole for a second. This is the intro area. This is area 1. And by the way, the map is very, very cool. It actually reminds me a little bit of Monster Hunter Wilds. Kind of an interactive map. You could zoom in, you could zoom out. It's nice, and it shows you all the little points of interest, all right? And you start over here. And when you run up, the first area you kind of run into are these little mountains here. And then as you go through, you bounce through all these areas. Now, first thing that I did was make my first base. Because again, I went in blind, no idea what the hell I'm doing in this little like rock formation here. Then I realized, oh, that's like far away from everything. So then I made my second base over here on this rock formation, not realizing that this thing is freaking huge. And I was like, no, I'm not going to make a third base. Then I got to abandon this one, and then I got to rebuild everything. So my base was right here. Which, again, like, oh, what's the big deal where the base is? Well, this is a survival MMORPG. Now, what I'm going to say is right off the bat, I'm going to give you, if you should buy this game, if you like this, you should not buy this game if you're like this, all right? So I'm going to give you a positive and a negative right off the bat. If you are a fan of survival games, if you're a fan of open world MMOs, if you are a fan of Dune, I think you will really, really like this game. So right off the bat, if it's like, dude, I love those styles of games, this thing's gonna check all the boxes. If you don't have a lot of time, so like me, a wife and 4 kids, and I know it sounds silly, like, oh, you don't have time, you're literally a content creator. This game is, when you talk about a time suck, holy crap, all right? Fetch quests, moving, traversal, crafting, combat, and survival elements where you die, lose all your stuff, come back. I mean, this has every box you could think of as far as like, I'm not going to say not respecting your time, because I think when you play this game, you are signing up for that, all right? But just know that this thing is like, it eats up a lot of time, okay? So here we go. This is the intro zone. It'll be, you need rocks, you need to craft, you need to go do this quest. So you gotta like cross short parts of the desert or else the worm will eat you. And I'll run from my base here, to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, to here. Oh, and I made it to the outpost. All right, I got all my stuff. And then it'll say, your next mission is a craft. I gotta make something. I have to make something. So what do? I run all the way back to my base and craft it. And then, oh, I need to find the cave. All right, I need to find the cave. All right, by the way, I've done 2 trials in the game. All right, and it's like, okay, then I got to go here, then I got to go here, then I got to go over here, finish the quest. You guys see what I'm saying? And then when I'm done with that, I got to, you got to run back. On top of this, you're dealing with the sun, and you're dealing with thirst, and you're dealing with worms, and you're dealing with combat, okay? And you have to craft all this stuff. So your bags are always full because you're gathering everything, and every time your bags are full, you got to also go back, and you don't have any vehicles whatsoever in the intro zone. So for the most part, it is fetch quests, building your first base, gathering resources, and, you know, the first area is really the tutorial area. So you're learning the game. You go through your first trial, you're leveling your base, you're leveling your character. Okay, so you finish the first area. Are you with me so far? Finish the first area. You basically, the last thing you do when you finish the area is you build your, I call it a quad. People always get mad. You build your little trike bike, all right? And then you go up into the second area. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm not going to make my base here, here, or here. This is like kind of a large center island. I'll make my base. I found a nice little location here. All right. Now, when you make your base here, you have to abandon your old base. And I'm like, abandon my old base? Okay, you're still following me? So you on the map, I literally click down here and abandon my old base to then build my new base, which is what I am in right now. And it's like, you know, it's nothing too fancy. I was like, oh, I've already literally made 2 bases. I'm 12 hours in, and now I'm building my third base. Well, I went in blind. I know I've said that 100 times, right? When you abandon your base, you lose all your stuff. And there's people in chat that are like, oh, you know, you can dismantle things, you can put stuff, you know, you can put items in your inventory and move it over. And I was like, yeah, but then I gotta, like, you know, I gotta bike across the whole desert to the base, fill it up, then come back with resources, you know, and you gotta go back and forth, which again, I didn't even know about. Literally, the quest says abandon your base. So, okay, I abandoned my base. I'm now standing in my new area. All I have is this, and you rebuild the base. All the equipment, all the storage, the walls, the roof, the foundation, you have to make it again. I'm 12 hours in, and I've made 3 bases. But I didn't bring any of my crafting materials, which means I had to spend hours and hours just circling this effing mountain, gathering rocks and materials to just rebuild the same thing that I've already made to make my new base. Okay? Now, I feel like you're following so far. Now, I don't want this to be a totally negative video because this game isn't totally negative. The visuals are good. The sound is good. Combat is very mediocre, but you do really get a sense that you're in the Dune world with the worms and the trackers and the vehicles and the environment. Like, I feel like they really nailed the visuals, okay, so far. Now, the second area I was a little disappointed in, all right? Not because, look, I got one of my bikes over here because I got a few of them. Not because it looks bad or combat's bad or anything like that. But basically, in the second area, now all you are doing is just upgrading your equipment to level 2. To level 2. So when you go to research now, I need, we could go right here. Now I need, like, instead of the basic one, I got to go to the MK1. And then I'm going to have to go to the MK2. All right? Now, so what that means is the pacing of the game, or really what I'm saying is the loop of the game, from what I understand right now, based upon my first impressions, is fetch quest, gathering resources, building up my base. Okay? Area 2 is fetch quests, building up my base, but now my equipment is level 2. So literally the exact same thing that I was doing in Area 1, I am doing in Area 2, but the rocks are a different color, and I need the new cutting tool for the rock that's a different color. And I'm sure in Area 3, I will need level 3 gear, because there's going to be another color rock, and I'm going to have to rebuild the damn base again. But my, you know, my trike, my little bike will be faster. You kind of hear what I'm saying? Now, I know there's people in the comment section that are writing right now. Obviously, Aaron, you don't play MMOs. You don't know what you're talking about. That is literally the flow of every MMORPG. And that could be absolutely correct. That absolutely could be correct. I'm just telling you that's what it's like in Dune right now. So, first impressions, all right? There's a couple times I was falling asleep. There was a couple times I was like, dude, this is a really, really fun game. And more than anything else, my community is like, Aaron, you are going to hate this game. You are going to rage quit. You're going to be dying all the time. There's no way you make it through one stream. And not only did I make it through one stream, I ended in a good point and streamed it a second day. And there was a couple times that I was about to lose my mind, but I didn't rage quit and we made it through 2 days. So all in all, Dune Awakening, I actually think I will return to it. We're going to try out the new PoE 1 League. My first impressions are the game is it eats up a lot of time, tons of fetch quests, and it's pretty much everything you'd come to expect on a, I don't know, standard MMORPG. You not only do you have to deal with all the fetch quests, not only do you have to deal with it eating up all your time, but it's also a survival game. So you're worried about, you always need water, and you're always dealing with sunlight, and all of your gear breaks, so you always have to repair it. And when you die, you can lose all your equipment. On top of that, it has PvP. It's a pretty crazy game. Now, I probably should have mentioned it right at the beginning of the video, but this is not sponsored. I've just been streaming the game, and a lot of people asked if I would make a first impressions video, so this is it. Dune Awakening right now is $50, and on Steam, it does have a very positive 87% on its first 18,242 reviews. So that feels pretty good, and they're already planning expansions and DLCs, and they're already putting out a bunch of hot fixes. And if you look over at Steam charts, it is kind of doing something you don't see super often. It's building mountains. Normally, these AAA titles get a huge boost, and then you just see this very, very slow fall off, where actually its peak continues to grow day over day, which means the game probably has good word of mouth, and there's enough people that are liking it that they continue to log in for the grind. So Steam reviews are pretty good. Steam charts are pretty damn good. But just know that this is a $50 game. So to kind of end or round out this video, do I recommend it? Is it worth your time? I'm actually gonna say yes, I think it is. If you are somebody that hates survival, do not buy this game. If you are somebody that doesn't have a lot of time, do not buy this game. But if you're okay with survival, if you're okay with MMO, and $50 isn't too much, especially if you're a fan of Dune, I think a lot of people are actually really going to enjoy this. Now, you should know that I had a couple buddies that were on random servers, and I couldn't join any of their servers because it doesn't hold a lot of people. So far, every single person that I know that is playing this game is on a different server, which really, really sucks, because obviously this is an MMORPG with guilds and all that good stuff. So I do think it is weird that it's hard to play with your community, and there's already queues for the game because the servers don't hold that many players. So there is some of that stuff you have to deal with, but visual performance, server performance when I'm in game, I've only had one disconnect, which feels pretty good from a performance standpoint. And I think the main thing they need to work on is combat. Just feels stiff. It's nothing special, but I think where this game sells me is my favorite MMORPG of all time is Star Wars Galaxies, and it has a Galaxies feel to it. I can't even really explain it. It could just be the aesthetic, but I get a Galaxies vibe, even though the games are completely different. I know this has been a weird first impressions video. It's basically just me rambling. So hopefully you are all entertained. Hopefully that helped answer some questions. You can come by stream if you have any questions. Join the Discord. We just started a brand new giveaway, and we have movie night coming up. The first link in the description is the Discord. And don't forget to check out actionrpg.com, my newly launched website. The website is really coming along. I'm excited for some new features in the future. So I'm done. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.